We continue to approach the 204,000 subscriber mark. Appreciate every single person who has already subscribed. If you haven't yet, we're going to be here all off season long. It's not just in-season coverage and watch party stuff we do. We got daily videos for you on the Dallas Cowboys. Hit that sub button if you haven't already subscribed. Let's go to Trevon Diggs, and this is not good news at all. There's been plenty of talk and questions and concerns that I have as well over the future of Trevon Diggs after the news of his latest knee injury. Here's what we know so far. It is a cartilage injury for Trevon Diggs, which is certainly not a overly common injury. Normally you get sprains and stuff of the ligaments and bone bruises and whatnot. Stephen Jones has said this is a roughly 8-month recovery for Diggs. So that would put the timeline in. He's back before the season starts at some point in August, but after training camp. And that's, if you bring him back once that window opens, there is possibility of he stays on PUP list to begin the season too. Now, Steven also said today it was a new injury. That's actually very concerning to me because we knew Diggs was battling through stuff. He had a bunch of issues. I wouldn't be shocked if it's, your right knee hurts a little bit more, so you put more pressure on the left type of deal. It's something along those lines. But new injury is a really bad sign for Trevon Diggs, who kept trying to fight through a variety of different issues and now had a new one apparently develop before this last week's game. I do want to mention the contract here because I've frankly seen some bad reporting on what things said. This is all per Over the Cap and Spo Tracker, both aligned on this. That's how you know that it's right. Diggs is a $14.25 million cap hit next year. Really not that high. He has a $9 million base salary. Now, that base salary fully guarantees on March 22nd. However, it is already currently guaranteed for injury, meaning if he can't pass a physical before March 21st, that's fully guaranteed then. You can't cut him because you're not saving any money because the contract's guaranteed for injury. So basically, there's no real savings here to be had. None. That goes for a trade or a release. The trade doesn't really save you a ton of money either. Because of the way the contract's been structured, you haven't paid too much of it. Again, $14 million, we're going to make $19 per year. You're on the cheaper end still on that front. So what I'm saying is this, expect him back in 2025. Now, how healthy he's going to be, I don't know. How much you can trust him as being a key part of your defense for the entirety of next season, I don't know either. That's why I'm concerned about this. Because between Overshown and Diggs, two players that you were hoping were going to be key pieces for you next season, now you got uncertainty about when they're going to play and how they're going to play coming off of yet another injury. So what is your concern level over the Trevon Diggs injury stuff? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. It's the pinned comment, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. Diggs is, objectively speaking, apologies, Trevon, not a good tackler. Not. Doesn't bring great run supportability. But he has been pretty good in coverage. Frankly, outside of the Bengals game, there haven't been a lot of blown assignments from Diggs, and that was also just, Jamar Chase is a top 2 receiver in football, and he played like a top 2 receiver against the not top 2 corner that went the way you thought it was going to go, right? Not a good cut, not a good tackler, good coverage player. You've got uncertainty in the quarterback room now as you move forward. Kalen Carson on IR, out for the year, underwent shoulder surgery, didn't play well when he was out there. Josh Butler, ACL, was going to be a backup at best anyway. Israel Mukuamu is a free agent. Amani Oruwariye got benched. I think we'll see more Andrew Booth. And he wasn't very good either. So Trevon Diggs coming off the injury. Jordan Lewis is going to be a free agent as well. So the only guy you truly trust long-term that's healthy, knock on wood right now, is Deron Bland. That puts you in kind of a sneaky bad spot at corner, depending on what you do in free agency. Maybe they spend some money for once. Now, Clarence Hill reported that the Cowboys didn't love Diggs' early rehab efforts. Micah then said that was not true, and I think this also might be two different schools of thought there's two different viewpoints of, hey, Micah thought Diggs was working hard. Cowboys might not have thought Diggs was working as hard, and maybe that came at different points in the cycle because I do think there was some frustration early before training camp, etc. I think there were concerns there about that on that front, but seemed to kind of balance things out a little bit there. I wouldn't. He got it going later on, but I think there were some question marks early on. That had kind of been mentioned from some Cowboys coming out of training camp early on, too. So we'll see about Diggs' future with today's show made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the place for last-minute tickets to your next big event. And it's about togetherness this holiday season. It means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better, and it is the perfect gift. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. Makes getting tickets if your teams play live even easier. It filters out the fluff to only show you incredible deals on great seats. So you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of different tickets. It is curation to save you even more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. You don't want to go to a Cowboys game. Maybe you just take the wife, the girlfriend to a comedy show or a theater. Maybe is probably better for at least for my wife. Earn some brownie points this holiday season, right? Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Let's talk Osa Odighizuwa. Again, we'll look some forward-looking things on today's show. Slow start to the season. Absolutely true for Osa and the entire Cowboys team/defense. The last few weeks, though, Osa has very much shown to be in the midst of a bit of a breakout campaign for the Dallas Cowboys. The first 7 games, he had a half sack, a TFL, 6 hits, 18 quarterback pressures. Didn't look particularly great. In the last 7 games, to be fair, which overlaps some with Micah Parsons' return, but also I think just general adjustment by your defense to A, lesser competition, and to the Mike Zimmer-focused defense. He's got 3.5 sacks, 4 TFLs, 16 quarterback hits, and 33 pressures. He has been significantly better, and I know from talking with some other fans' medias, drawing the attention of other fan bases such as the Bengals, who are desperate for defensive tackle help. And I do know this part. We might not like it. If you want to retain Osa, which you can make a real argument based on the growth he's shown and the lack of talent in your defensive line room, it's going to be expensive. The defensive tackle market last offseason was kind of ridiculous, and it caught me off guard, too. I wasn't expecting it to be as gangbusters as it ended up being. 20 different defensive tackles make at least $15 million per year. 32 defensive tackles make at least $10 million per year. I think that $10 million per year is the floor for Osa Odighizuwa. I've seen some of those defensive tackles. I watched Justin Jones not be very good and get $10 million per year. Osa's better than him. And it's free agency. Salary cap goes up every single season. That guy's going to get more money than what we've seen in recent, than what we might have expected maybe after the first half of this campaign. Again, 40 tackles, 4 sacks, 5 TFLs. He's already on pace for a career high in sacks, career high in tackles. He should get there. TFLs, maybe not, but he's got an outside shot at that one as well. And the thing that I struggle with the most here is Osa, I think, is a good player, not a great player. I don't always love paying big money to good players. I have 1.5 good players right now on my defensive tackle depth chart. And Mozzie Smith has played much better the past, also about 6-7 games. He's been actually a solid nose guard, not Mr. 119 on the PFF rankings anymore. Moving on up. But that's one of my 2 starters, plus I want to play 3 to 4 guys each game. Watkins and Joseph are stopgap veterans who are free agents. That is it. That is it. Osa Odighizuwa is my one good 3 technique. If I don't have him, my defensive tackle room is in really bad shape for 2025. I think DT might be your answer here, outside of better ownership, for biggest need for the Cowboys in 2025. What do you think it is? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. We've mentioned defense. I do want to mention Mike Zimmer here. I think one of the biggest reasons for your recent success from the Cowboys has been to play the defense. Because all let's talk about is Mike McCarthy going to stay. The best part of this team has not been the offense led by McCarthy. It's been the defense led by Mike Zimmer. They weren't playing well early this season. They were 30th in EPA per play, 18th in success rate. They were a bottom 5 defense in the first half of the season. The last 6 weeks, they are once again playing as a fringe top 10 unit. 7th in EPA per play, 13th in success rate. The rushing EPA and success rate are doing okay. Quarterback runs have kind of killed them, but that's been a Cowboys thing for as long as I can remember being a fan. Remember the Marcus Ware scrape exchange disaster class under the Bill Parcells era. It just didn't always work that great. The defense has played much better. And now look, the level of competition matters. I do want to acknowledge that. But if I'm going to be critical at times, I should also be positive when it's worthwhile being positive. I like a lot of the stuff I've seen from Mike Zimmer. He's done creative things. He's moved Micah Parsons around some. I think you can argue he's the best coach on the team right now. And I don't know if that's that hot of a take either. I would have zero issues if the Cowboys bring back Mike Zimmer in 2025. But I want to let my head coach decide. I don't want to keep doing this thing and not learn from my mistakes where I hire a coach and go, okay, you can be the head coach, but this is your DC and also this is your other assistant, this is your other assistant, and figure out the rest on your own. I would like to have more cohesiveness from my coaching staff, and that starts with letting my head coach, who I hired to make the rest of the staff decisions there. So acknowledging that part is your option. Just in general, do you want to keep Mike Zimmer as the Cowboys defensive coordinator? Y for yes, N for no. Go vote in the comments section. Well, we will wrap up here with some Rico Dowdle conversation. He has emerged as the Cowboys' #1 back. He is now the first Cowboys player with 100-plus yards in 3 straight games since 2019, and the first UDFA to do so in the NFL period since this guy named Arian Foster. He is a legit starter in the NFL. He is now up to 888 yards on the year. He's averaging a cool 5 yards per carry. Teams now have to maybe start adjusting their strategy of going, okay, we got to stop Rico Dowdle first and make Cooper Rush beat us through the air. When was the last time the Dallas Cowboys had an offense that went, hey, you actually got to stop the run first? For a year, it's been you got to stop Dak and Lamb, Dak and Amari. Maybe back into some of those prime Zeke days, it felt that way. I will say this, though, for Rico Dowdle. He's going to be a free agent. And this is his one chance for real, actual, life-changing money. He was an undrafted free agent. He re-signed for the vet minimum because nobody had interest in him. This is his one opportunity to get a paycheck that doesn't start with a 1 on it, or less than 6 or less than 7 figures. Chance to get more money for him. I don't know how much he's going to get. The running back market, there was kind of, I think, a course correction, a bit of an overcorrection previously, and there were some good values to be had out there. I think a couple different players that maybe this is your rough range for Rico Dowdle. Chuba Hubbard got $8.3 million on an extension from Carolina. That kind of factors in the salary cap growth from Tony Pollard, which was 7.25, but you weren't going to pay Pollard 7.25, or you're going to pay Rico Dowdle 7.25. Devin Singletary got 5.5. Austin Eckler got 4.2. Zach Moss got 4. I think if you can get him for 5-ish, that's probably solid value for a guy that's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. The biggest concern I have with Rico, frankly, the injuries. He's been healthy this year, knock on wood. He hasn't been healthy in previous years. So I am down to bring him back, but you have to have another option there. That can be another cheap veteran, or it can just be a draft pick. It's a great back class. You can find a guy, I'd say in round 4, which have a 4th-round pick. You can find one in the 3rd round, though, in the 5th round, or trade up in the 4th round. Move around, or trade down in the 1st and get more 4th-round picks, whatever. Because right now, Rico and I think Hunter Lipke are the only 2 guys that are actually locked onto your roster if you bring back Rico in the first place next year.